Hey there team, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my overview of Railroute. So for those not across it, I do reviews and overviews. Overview being, I take a look at the first 2 hours of a game. Steam reckons that's a fair refund window to make up your mind, and I agree. If a game doesn't sell itself in the first 2 hours, odds are you're not going to change your mind 20 hours in. So I do these short little videos. I try not to go on too long so as to put things on your radar that I've had a bit of a go with, and I can sort of triage from that what I'm going to review. This game is going to be for a very specific kind of spurg, like me, that likes logistics change management games and all that. Like, funnily enough, I'm not a huge Factorio guy, but things like Shapes, even, just generally logistics chain management, I really froth. And this is about being essentially a transit conductor, making trains leave and enter stations. And it looks like there's going to be automation, though the game is clearly designed to be overwhelmingly robust. Like, I can taste it already, that the automation's not as simple as just go from this station to the other. And so you're moving trains in between stations along lines. There is sort of a progression, as you buy new stations, you build new train lines, and you kind of, every train delivered on time gives you a point towards the research tree, and your floating score is how many trains inside of a 24-hour cycle get delivered. So you're trying to push your network up and have more trains in motion and not have them slow down or get jammed up or anything like that. And so in the early days, it's quite manual. It's you depart here, change this track, but it's already starting to give me these little tools to automate on a small scale. I guess what I'm getting at is it's going to be ridiculously complex. And so in order to do that and have all these trains on top of each other on this constantly never-ending 24-hour cycle, you need very high fidelity, fiddly automation tools. So as far as like teaching you and meting all that out, it seems very apparent to me that it's going to be incredibly complex, and I'm frothing it. I'm loving it. I can't wait to play more. I had to stop myself to do this video. So that's a good sign. It was in early access. I think I actually checked it out back when it first came out, and I don't even think the video made it up because I kind of bounced off it. It wasn't really what I would call new player friendly, if I recall, but now it's actually really brilliant. As far as like the dopamine feedback loop, I'm very hooked. But in the back of my mind, I see the promise, I see the screenshots on Steam, I see what it can be as opposed to what it is now, and it excites me, which is what you want to see. Worth noting, it's set in Europe somewhere, I don't know, bloody Poland or something, Sweden, I don't know. So you got all these wild station names that I can't pronounce. Poor bogan like me struggles hard enough as it is. But you've got this sort of affable older trainer teaching you the ropes as a newbie, and he's got a voice over sort of narrative, and he's just doddering about, reminiscing about the old days. And look, the writing paired with this particular voice actor, it's great. I could listen to this dude all day. It just goes to show, because we're plagued with narratives where it's just some prick talking in your ear non-stop about all their problems, and it's just usually written and acted in such a way that it's kind of out of touch, unrelatable, and it turns you against who is supposed to be your friend in your ear. And sadly, it's kind of become the rule that writing is bad, but it is worth pointing out that there are exceptions. So yeah, look, this game's not supposed to be super narrative heavy, but I'm kind of a little bit invested in what old mate's up to. He's telling me about he has to walk out the room. Oh, I got to take this call. I'm sure you could direct these trains for a while. And it's, there's something very charming about it and wholesome. He's like, I was on the call with this ex-minister and he's talking about my invention patent, and I'm kind of like, this is what it would be like if you're sitting in this bloody office with this dude as he teaches you to move trains. He's going to talk about his crap, and for whatever reason, it works. When 99% of the time it doesn't. And that's just hilarious, because this is just a train management game. It has absolutely no reason to have good writing, and yet it does. So I find that very funny. My next step is probably, I'm going to go back in, I'm going to just delete everything, gut everything out. I'm too invested in Old Mate's story to restart or do a new mission, but the game doesn't seem to penalize you. It's not like you have an income versus outcome. You believe you get docked money. It's more the rate at which you make stuff will increase. So you want to achieve more, but you're not really offset. Ergo, I don't think there's really a downside of me stripping it right back and rebuilding my network and being more anal about it. But yeah, it's definitely overwhelming. I will say that, like, getting your head around it, it is still tricky. It's as approachable as you could possibly get of any sort of game trying to deal with this sort of stuff in a very technical and potentially stressful situation because you're trying not to get your trains delayed and backed up onto each other. So it does as good a job as it can, but it's still like, if you look at these screenshots and you start to have a stress attack as opposed to froth like I do, then, maybe it's not going to be for you no matter how good I tell you it is. Anyway, I'm really, really impressed. I really like it. Will I review it? Actually, there's a good chance I'll kind of accidentally review it because I want to play more of it in my downtime, and that'll probably turn into a review in and of itself. So we'll see. Anyway, team, don't need to waffle. Game's really cool, really promising, and it's 1.0 now, so you should check it out. Might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.